So the other thing, I came to stream on probably Friday morning, and I thought it was going to be a hot take, and I thought it was a spicy comment. I was looking for chat to like get energized and fight me on it, blah, blah, blah. I came to stream and said, this is basically Destiny in its model. And everyone in chat was like, yeah, you're totally right. Like it's just
this is Destiny. Basically what?
Destiny. The entire game is set up like Destiny.
The multiplayer component is.
Yeah. And it's like they basically saw and oversaw Destiny 2 creation when Bungie was at Activision, and they took everything from that model and put it into this game. And it's a never-ending live service Destiny. The story, I'm not going to spoil anything, but there's a conclusion, and then some other stuff happens, and you can see where that's going. Right.
Well, we know there's going to be seasons.
Yeah.
And they've already said that seasons are going to have important story elements and such. There's also going to be paid expansions. So they had to leave the door wide open in many doors wide open. Like we all knew that was coming. But it's interesting because we've had this discussion a lot. A lot of people have come to the channel and saying things like, hey, is this like Lost Ark? And I've been like, no, Lost Ark is like a traditional MMO that has light ARPG mechanics, where this is the opposite. This is a traditional ARPG that has light MMO looking mechanics. And then I equate it much more to Destiny than Lost Ark. Like in this game, you're running around in the open world or hubs. You see other players running around doing their thing. You can invite them to small group combat, stuff like that. It's a live service in terms of getting more content over time, free and paid. Like this is the model. Like Destiny established the model. So when you say it's like Destiny in the meta sense, in the backbone sense, absolutely.
Yeah.
It's not an MMO, although there's definitely some parts that feel like it, but it's just like Destiny, just like Warframe, just like Path of Exile in a lot of ways. They kind of emulate what a lot of people like in MMOs while not actually being an MMO at all.
Right.
So it's
Yeah. And monetization wise, it's 100% like Destiny, right? Like full price game. They will pay. They will be most likely. They haven't announced, I don't think, what expansions will cost. Probably $40, $50 most likely.
Depends on how many people want Paladin.
Yeah. And most likely those will be annual releases. You'll have the battle pass every 3-ish months for $10 built into the game.
Secube says, so you don't think there will be expansions but little monthly updates? No, they're doing them both. So the way that it works is there's seasonal content, and seasons are going to be, I think, do battle passes accompany seasons?
Yes.
Is that how that works?
Yep.
So then they have the paid battle passes and the seasons.
Yep.
And then on top of seasons, there's going to be paid expansions. And paid expansions are going to be like large content plugins that probably have paywalled items, paywalled classes, things of that nature. So they're doing it all.
It's Destiny.
they're doing it all, basically. It's very, very similar to Destiny. That's exactly right.
And like shop prices, it was funny because I saw a lot of people.
And a cosmetic shop on top of all that.
Yeah, cosmetic shop. Yeah, that's when I bring up shop. It's all cosmetic first and foremost. But the prices for that, like I saw when they came out, I was like, oh, that's not too bad. And it's like $27 for an armor price. And then I was like, I play PoE. That's why I don't think it's that bad. Because like
you can't. We've had another discussion we've had so many times that you can't compare this to PoE.
You can't at all.
Can't compare a free-to-play game to a game you paid $70 for.
Yeah, I was gonna say it better be cheap.
No,
they're saying that. Well, PoE did it. No, stop.
Well, that's where my fucking like monkey brain goes. It's like, well, I got like a $500 supporter pack in PoE. I like. This is like $24 and you get a cool armor skin.
Oh, man.
Meanwhile, there's like people at the gate trying to get into the castle, just bombarding and like launching themselves over. You're fucking wrong. That's so fucking expensive for armor, you fucking moran.
And they're right.
They're right. They're right. 100% they're right.
Oh my God.
They're very expensive. It's inexpensive. You get cosmetic armor. I think the most expensive one or the like premium tier is $27 for a full set of armor. I wonder if they'll go as far as to introduce like transmog for spells. I wonder if that ever happens.
Oh, dude, if I would be baffled if Blizzard was not looking at what PoE
Same.
does with that stuff, especially recently.
Yeah.
Like with their evolving and morphing cosmetics and stuff like that. I bet you they're already designing them right now.
Yeah.
They almost guarantee you they're designing them right now.
Yeah. They've got horse armor. They've got horses. If you want to, you can get like a unicorn. It's like $10 or something like that. Yeah, but that's
just equine, just horse type.
yeah. They don't have like there's not like a turtle or anything, but they have like a skeletal horse. They have like
I like that you picked turtle out of all the animals.
Well,
you
it's
could mount.
fucking World of Warcraft does turtles. I don't know.
Oh, okay. It's
There's
like
a lot
the
of turtles.
slowest animal you could mount. Like that doesn't seem like a good mount. You didn't pick a griffin or something like that. Like a turtle was the first thing on your mind.
Yeah.
Okay, somebody says, I wish Co would stop saying that. Free game, so it makes it okay to spend your life savings. Bro, we're not telling you to buy PoE skins. We're saying that that's where they get their money. That's the point of what we're saying. That's where I'm not telling you to go buy a $500 supporter pack. That's crazy.
Yeah.
But if you've played the game 1,000 hours, they give players that avenue, and that's the thing to do.
Yeah.
Now, if it was a $70 game and they also had a $500 thing, that'd be a little bit different. Like that hits different. It hits different when you're already purchasing the content.
Right.
So it's no one is saying go buy a bunch of PoE cosmetics. You don't ever have to buy anything.
And if your response to Co is the idea that we're normalizing it, we're not normalizing it. This is the fucking industry. That shit's been normalized for a decade at this point, right? Like it's how it goes.
The premise of a paid game and a free-to-play game and the discussion that comes with monetization of both of those is an hour-plus discussion in itself.
Yes, which we've had.
Which we've had. A $70 game, there are expectations set with that. A free-to-play game, there are expectations set with that. Yeah. So it's a different perspective and a different experience, which both have nuance to them.
Yeah, like that war is over and mobile games changed the industry, right? Like it is every game type that you play, from sports to driving to ARPGs to MMOs to FPSs to everything, it exists. And it's unfortunately like not going away.
And to chat's credit, and people that were saying this, and this is absolutely right. Now the lines are definitely becoming blurrier before all of them. It's absolutely true. And games like Diablo 4 are a perfect example of blurring that line. Like the idea that you will have paid battle passes and cosmetic shops and expansions in a full price game with $100 early access version, with a collector's edition that doesn't even come with the game. Like it's like I hate to say it, and we all know it. This is the future. This is where our games are heading. They're becoming less about the game and more about the orbiting
services,
money services that are associated with it. So it's just going to get more and more and more where it's to the point where it's just like the game is going to be a second thought. Now, thankfully, I will say this. Thankfully, that's one of the reasons I feel we should be so loud when the game actually is good. When it's like, it'd be a completely different thing if Diablo 4 was a trashy game.
That's true.
With half-ass cinematics and half-ass gameplay, and then they were still doing all this stuff around it. Like that, or if it was pay to win. Or if some of these systems that they were coming out with were required to play the game. Like, it's kind of a make sure that you like what you like and still be loud about what you don't.
Right.
Even in my Diablo 4 thoughts video, I talk about how much I love the game. And even though I haven't used any of it yet, I'm like, hey, by the way, if you're thinking of playing it, here's the monetization. Here's how it works. If you have problems with that, factor that into your decision to purchase a game. Like, talk about what you like, but just be loud about what you don't too.
Yeah.
It feels like people who say stuff like that have never ever got into a hobby, like real into it.
Sure.
Because you buy the hobby thing, like I'll take paintball for example. Paintball was a huge thing for 2 years, whatever.
Yeah.
And everybody got into it. And you got a paintball, and then you're like, you got the standard paintball gun, and then you're like, fuck, I gotta get the better paintball gun. I gotta get the one with this popper on it, and this type of shit. And it's all like add. And most of it, like some of it is for performance, but some of it just because it looks fucking cool. And it's like, that's exactly what this feels like to me,
Yeah.
Like you've never had a hobby that you spent money on just because you like to look at it.
Yeah.
Well, maybe collectibles.
No, it's interesting that you say that, Zeke, because in a lot of ways you're absolutely right. It's just instead of this happening in like the microcosm of a single hobby, we're watching this happen on a macro level with the entire gaming industry. We're now watching what we have grown up with, in many cases of us for decades, we're watching as the industry learns to do exactly what you're talking about with all of gaming. Like, how can we make this more? How can we add more fun little things to buy? How can we have more services to charge them for? Like, this Diablo 4 is an example of them testing the waters. They're seeing how far they can take this. This one's not pay to win. Maybe the next one will be, and they're going to see how much they can push that. And then after that, you know, it's just going to keep snowballing essentially.
It's probably because I'm not like, I don't, the last game I played, and this was, God, it must have been like a couple of years ago now, was Warframe that had anything like that. All the games I play, I mean, like almost completely are just complete games, and that's it. There's nothing more to buy.
Yep.
And so I think thankfully there will always be a place for that. So, I mean, not necessarily. It's always good to get a perspective, especially from, you know, the outside looking in. But no, buy to play, I think will always have a place, thankfully, due to indies and things of that nature that don't have the resources to do it. And that's one of the reasons I think indies are, in a lot of ways, becoming more popular all the time. It's because the people that want to stay away, like there's people that aren't going to touch D4, not because they don't want to play it, just because they don't want to support this monetization.
Yep.
Or
support
thousands
Blizzard
and thousands and thousands of people. Absolutely. Or don't want to support Blizzard and don't want to deal with that baggage. Absolutely. So it's, you know, of course, unfortunately, they're going to still make a ton of money off it, but it's definitely
more power to
like chat right now filling up with people saying me. Like, you know, that's something that they have to think about when they think about this kind of stuff. So
absolutely. We got 3 minutes left. Final question I have for you, Co, on the topic of Diablo. 1, are you going to level this character to 100?
I don't know.
2, are you going to do all this again in a month when the new season drops?
No.
You won't play the season at all?
I'd like to do, I don't know. It depends on how they do it.
Okay.
I will say that I was really hoping that the side questing, because there's a lot of side questing, I was really hoping that it wouldn't just feel like fetch quests.
There's a lot.
And I have to say, there's been a few quests that have been pretty freaking cool. Like the one from the beta, I really like the one with the exercising and, you know, she gets possessed and all that stuff.
Yes.
That was a beta one, so I feel free okay talking about that.
Yeah.
But I have also done a ton of side questing, which is just, hey, go kill 50 of these and absorb the soul and then come back and get the little thing you right click to get some herbs.
And there's like 200 of those.
By the 15th one of those, I was just kind of like, man, I felt my steam draining a little bit. I was and am still planning a big 100 co-cent run, all side quests, all dungeons, that kind of thing.
Whew.
But that when I made that, it was under the intention that the side quests would at least be something that was propelling me forward. And I have unfortunately run into numerous already that don't make me feel that at all. They just feel like busy work.
Yeah.
They feel like busy work.
Yeah.
Which sucks. So thankfully, I mean, I'm still going. I'm still invested. Like I said, I'm just getting to the end game. So I'm sure I'm going to be doing a lot of that and, you know, exploring dungeons and stuff in that regard. But the idea of doing this all again doesn't sound super appealing. I know that they are going to have like an adventure mode of sorts.
Yeah, they are.
So I think I am interested in new content, especially after finishing the game. I'm very interested to know what else you're going to do. And I want to keep seeing awesome cutscenes and I want to see where the characters are going. So that stuff I want to do. The idea of doing all the stuff I've already done again is not super appealing.
I've done about 6 or 7 hours of like end game content. So like all the stuff that opens up after you finish the story. There's a lot to do in this game when it comes to like,
that's what I'm hoping.
They nailed what is out there in terms of just content to go and do and ways to progress your character. If you tune into like a hardcore grinding stream, you're going to see them open up a dungeon, spend 3 minutes in it and reset and do that until they're level 100. So that's not a great thing when there's like one clear direction and one clear path for the like quote unquote fastest way to level. But if you're just wanting to hop into the game and play, there's like 5 different avenues of things that you can go and do, which is and they're all fun. I had a great time doing it last night.
I am definitely looking forward to exploring it. I just got my first Paragon board. I don't even know how to get other ones.
Yeah.
Wasn't anything too interesting on the first board, but I'm guessing that kind of opens up as you start getting other ones and stuff. But we'll, you know, see how that goes.
That I don't even understand that system fully. And there's for the idea that like the game doesn't have depth or all of that like, no, there's a shit ton. Like there's so much stuff at the end game that I'm pretty overwhelmed.
They're They're gonna keep us on our toes if they keep these patches up.
If the patches hit every, if the patches hit every,
oh my
3
god,
months.
I have a feeling they attempted to nerf my class last night, and I don't feel they did it properly. So I would not in the slightest be surprised if there's a second round on Twist. Like they tried to mess with the cooldowns, it feels basically the same. At least not endgame. Maybe endgame it feels different, but it still is super strong. I mean, I had no problem just ripping through the end of the game today. So
yeah.
How many classes have you guys each played?
3? I played all 5 of them in beta.
I've played everything but Rogue, I think.
Okay, I'm going to ask a question, and it's just a real quick one. I'm not talking about min-maxing. I'm not talking about doing well in the game or whatever. What class would you guys say is the most fun and rewarding just to play it? Not because you crush everything. I mean, that's a part of it, obviously. But like, you know, like something that like feels fun to play.
I would say melee is kind of frustrating in that regard. I haven't played Rogue, but like, you settled on
Rogue is freaking awesome.
So I would say
Rogue is super high damage. It's super mobile. Yeah. You can make it so it's not super squishy. It has escapes. I mean, it has out of combat ways you can move around. There's variants in the build if you want to fine tune it. Like Rogue is a super fun class. Sork is really strong if you want kind of like a range class.
Yeah, if you want to go casters,
there's a couple
fun.
Yeah, and I've heard great things about Necro. Apparently Necro, if you spec a Necro right, it can be super. Here's the thing. There's specs in every class that are super viable. So if you play a class and you're like, nah, this doesn't feel very good, or this feels kind of clunky, if you look around a little bit, there's probably something you can do to make it a little bit more like what you've wanted. I have heard Barbarian and Druid are always kind of stay somewhat clunky, especially after the Whirlwind nerfs. But like Druid. Sork, Rogue, and Necro are all.
Druid
is there one that is just not fun?
They have different stages of like becoming fun.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. In terms of like you get an ability and then it's like, oh shit. Okay.
I played a Druid. Yeah. I played a Druid in beta. Now, granted, this was early, but I played a Druid in beta, and I didn't pick the right skills, to be blunt. And I was slow. I wasn't doing that much damage. I was tanky, but it's like it wasn't a very fun experience for me. These days, especially with the full game, you can make Druids pretty nasty, especially as you get towards the end game. But it kind of, again, it depends on what you're looking for. Like, do you want someone that's going to stand back with a bow and do a ton of damage? Do you want a big spellcaster? Do you want someone zippy? Like whatever you want, you can kind of work towards it.
Yeah.
And I'll save it for next time because none of you have gotten to it yet or done anything. But I'm really curious as to like the end game, what to do. Like, because that's what like most games are like end game, and then that's the game. That's the actual where you spend the hours is after you get to max level. And then you're doing everything else.
Yeah, I would say that's about right. I'd casual playthrough of the story, 20 to 30 hours, 15 to 25 hours. What'd you do, Co?
I wish I could. I went to Battle.net to see if I could look at my stats, but I don't think there's any way we can do that. Yeah. I really took my time towards the beginning. Like, so did I about midway through, I started kind of maining the main quest because I just wanted to wrap it up in case there were any big things I didn't want to get spoiled on.
Yeah.
I want to say like 20 to 25 hours.
Yeah.
And I could have cut that down to like 15 to 20. But again, as you're running around, the game gives you lots of little things to do if you want to. Like you could easily make a playthrough of this game be 60 plus hours.
So
if you were doing like every little hub and every you could probably do 60 to 100.
That in 120.
Here's a perfect example. Yeah. I've had multiple people, Co, I'm sure you're the same, in my chat, where it's like, hit level 50. I guess I'm going to go see about this NPC that I should talk to. And it's the first fucking act. Like, they have seen everything in the game. Yeah. They're 50 and they're like, let's go check out this main story thing. Let's see what that's all about.
And it's
Yeah,
scaled to
there's-
your level,
there's a
right?
lot.
Yes, the world scaled
Yep.
to your level. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter when you.
So
start,
many in
there's
chat
so
right now
many-
going, "That's me."
And I don't fault
I'm
them,
that
dude.
person.
I don't fault them. It's got
Hey,
Zelda levels of
At the end
distraction.
of the day, this is a single player game, dude. Have fun however you want.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
all
That's
what
right.
it's all about.